Hello, everyone. Jamin Shively here, broadcasting solo from Seattle, Washington. And the topic for right now is the living laboratory of Radish meets the numerical laboratory of global holistic modeling. However, the one thing I ask everyone to always keep in mind is that global holistic modeling is part of radical collective intelligence. And specifically, it's part of Radish collective intelligence, which is the first full-scale implementation of radical collective intelligence. So it's part and parcel of, it's an integral part of, it's not a separate thing. Yes, it is a thing, global holistic modeling, but it is also a thing that is just like my left lung is a part of Jamin Shively. I certainly hope, right? So it's a part of radical collective intelligence. So let me share some images that show a little bit more about what I'm talking about. So you have within radical collective intelligence, you have people and you have machines. Mostly I'm talking about computers when I talk about machines over here, especially when I'm talking about global holistic modeling. And there's a whole conversation on global holistic modeling that I invite you to check out and actually be a part of. And actually, the way to be a part of it is right over here, is people engage in global conversations. I call them global conversations because, well, for a number of reasons, but people from all around the world can participate in them. And they're really holistic in nature, so they are looking at the entire globe. Even though they may be at just a local program, they will be looking at their impacts on the entire globe and how they're benefiting it, et cetera, and benefiting from et cetera. But anyway, these are conversations about global transformation, including all the micro conversations about all the local transformations that need to take place. But the beautiful thing is that with the benefit of global holistic modeling and rich, deep use of taxonomies, so that every node that we're modeling is also a node that we can have conversations about. And vice versa. If we're having a conversation about something that's happening in the world, well, we can model that too. So it's a total back and forth, the dialectic between people and machines. And it's a dialectic at multiple levels. It's a dialectic at actually building the model in the first place, running it, testing it, looking at the test results. But then also, when we run the model and say, okay, what is the kind of the default scenario if we just kind of continue on the path that we're on, without any radical transformation, we get the results. Boom, these are the predictions. Currently, they're pretty dire. And of course, that makes us talk, and that's what we're doing. We're talking. And to the extent we can talk intelligently using collective intelligence or radical collective intelligence, or global collective intelligence, as I've been talking about, then the better we're going to be able to come up with solutions that we're going to be able to then put into the model and say, hey, what if we tried this solution? And what if we tried this whole mix of solutions? And we need to keep coming up with solutions and keep modeling them, and keep having this dialectic until we finally set ourselves on a course as humanity and as the world that will work for us and for all the other species and ecosystems and future generations. So common taxonomy, people on the left, machines on the right, and this whole world foundation here includes the whole world operating system and other foundational elements that are beyond the scope of this presentation. Okay, this is kind of looking at the same picture with perhaps a little bit more resolution. Machines are still on the right. People are on the left, but what the heck happened? Well, here I'm kind of representing people as kind of like different layers. So there's the Radish layer, which is like a platform that supports all kinds of conversations, and then CCC will build out its conversations, taxonomies, etc. within Radish. So it's like a layer on top. And then eco is for the cannabis and hemp industry. So and cannabis stands for both industrial hemp and medicinal cannabis, as it is the same plant, same species of plant. and then Sato Hemp. So it's kind of like a stack. You could sort of think of it that way. The Robinhood brands are a family of brands, of which Sato Hemp is the first. And from a taxonomy, we went to a Wixonomy, which is like a wiki taxonomy. And we'll talk more about that elsewhere. Voice and Vote stands for, it's a platform for all the people in the world to voice their opinion and to vote on questions that come up. We've got some really cool ideas around that. But anyway, both of these facilitate conversation and communication between people and the machines. So here you have whole world operating system. The global holistic models themselves that are built on top of the whole world operating system all fit into here. So I just kind of put that pictorially there. So whole world simulators, there's multiple different possible simulators, probably near infinite combinations of possible simulators. But anyway, whatever simulator you go with, pick one, that's your model, or construct one. Imagine an optimization layer on top of that that basically says, okay, great, we've got this crystal ball simulator, and yes, you can do manual testing all day long and all night long of different possible scenarios, but why not let artificial intelligence, why don't we build an optimization layer using artificial intelligence so that AI can do the job for us literally while we sleep? Or, well, depending on how long it takes. It may take days to run for all I know. But anyway, at the end, out will pop the optimal plan or optimal proposal, given all the resources and technologies and proposed solutions that are input into the simulator. And you know, that basically say, hey, go ahead and simulate these solutions because they're valid, they're tested, they're vetted, they're extremely vetted, and you know, go ahead and use these in the simulator. Say, okay, and it'll test them. It won't necessarily use them, but if it is successful in terms of the net impacts holistically, so you have to keep in mind, this looks at the whole world, all people and the entire planet. That's its entire scope. So the solutions that we're seeking to build over here in the world of Radish, see, Sato Hemp is kind of like, it is a solution that follows this path. Start with Radish. Radish conceives of Triple C. Triple C is implemented in the first industry that it makes sense to implement in, which is the cannabis and hemp industry. And Sato Hemp becomes the first brand that is Triple C certified within said industry. Boop, right? So, so that's implementation of something which could well have come from this pathway. It did not. It came from just straight logic here. But there will be a lot of solutions that won't be as obvious as Sato Hemp that will emerge as we do richer and deeper modeling and optimization to come up with a better and better plan for the whole world. And I think that, yeah, that's all we got. That's all that I want to share. I got a lot more slides here, but it would be like a really bad experience to try to wade through them all. So anyway, thank you for watching the slideshow. And so yeah, so, you know, anyway, just wanted to kick off this conversation. I don't know that it'll necessarily go anywhere. It's just kind of like, oh, these two living laboratories meet, the living laboratory of love, as Michael calls it, Radish, and generally, and the numerical laboratory of the global holistic modeling, which is a fascinating, I mean, I kind of sort of grew up in that world and did quite a bit of work in modeling and optimization and artificial intelligence and all that stuff. So I know the power of it firsthand. And it's really powerful stuff. In fact, I'll just share that when I was manager of logistics development at Cemex down in Mexico in the late 90s, I led a team and a company-wide effort to design and build and implement a system to optimize, to simultaneously optimize production planning. Remember, we talked about the optimal plan, this whole world plan, or whatever I called it on that last slide. To do optimal planning for simultaneously optimize the planning of production at all of the dozens of cement plants that produce, you know, up to, you know, millions of tons of cement per year each plant, up to millions of tons. Some are much newer and very high capacity and very efficient. Others are older, lower capacity, less efficient, with a lot more employees. Well, why do you keep them open? Cement is a very, very, very heavy product compared to its dollar value, per ton. And so logistics costs are huge, a huge portion of the total, and also a big polluter. And, because you're shipping it around by, steamship or trail or rail or truck, which is usually, almost always the last, however many miles, truck being the most polluting, of course. But regardless, you want to optimize it for many reasons, environmental reasons being, for me, the biggest reasons. But it required a holistic modeling and optimization, and people thought it couldn't be done because it was the biggest, holistic, simultaneous. Well, we did the modeling and the optimization as a single pass, which was also kind of revolutionary. And I just want to see if I have a picture that kind of tells that story a little bit visually. But the main point, yeah, here we go. Okay, so the main point being that in the end, that particular, I'll just show this slide that I've got on the topic. Present to everyone. Okay, so Cemex with its cement plants, this is just focused on Mexico, but then it expanded internationally from there. But at the time, 18 plants, 15 million tons per year of cement production. And we built a system with tens of thousands of independent variables and tens of thousands of constraints, representing each and every one of the possible, truck trips from this plant to this, market, et cetera, et cetera. And we had to account for multiple modes of transportation, like you produce it here, ship it by steamship way down here, which actually happens because there's no cement plants down here. And then they get unloaded and either go by rail or by truck to the various markets here in the South. And so I just show this as a real example that's, saves gobs and gobs of money and minimizes environmental impact for a very rich company. In fact, it's one of the reasons why the company is so rich, because it benefits from this technology on a daily basis. So likewise, imagine using that same, paradigm of globally modeling all aspects: production, agriculture, logistics, manufacturing, service sector, all the different industries of the global economy. If you can do it for one industry, you can do it for all industries. We did it for the cement industry, and it was the biggest in terms of tons of man-made material, in terms of millions of tons per year. It was the biggest simultaneous optimization of production planning and logistics planning ever undertaken, and it was successful, very successful, done within a matter of a few short months and a budget of like $100,000, aside from the time of those of us who were working on the project as employees. But anyway, and it's I think it's still in use today. I mean, it was just such a solid tank of a program. But we can use that same technology, that general brand area of technology and artificial intelligence, to simultaneously optimize for agriculture, construction, housing, all these different things, and come up with what is the optimal world that we could live in. Now, of course, human beings aren't just a bunch of trained seals and we just tell them, okay, now do this and they'll do that. But using collective intelligence, we can create marketplace solutions to these market-based problems. Fundamentally, the world's problems are market-based problems. They're problems rooted in the mode of production, which destroys, it's not that it's setting out to destroy them, but the unintended consequence is that it is destroying humanity and the planet simultaneously. So we need to transform the mode of production, and we have marketplace solutions such as the bifurcating standard CCC and all the other vectors which are promoting everything that we're doing, from the Emperor's New Clothes, the documentary television series, to Sato Hemp itself, to Radish Collective Intelligence itself, to Ichi, putting compassion in fashion, the Hungerless games, the soon-to-be massively popular massive multiplayer game or whatever you call those things. All of these things work together holistically to move forward the entire program of global transformation rooted in absolutely benevolent collective intelligence which is designed from the outset to be absolutely benevolent. All profits to eradicating hunger, and then once hunger is eradicated, from there go on to solve the rest of the world's problems holistically, and be socially transformational and environmentally transformational. I know this is a bit long-winded, but this is one of those just specialty topics that if you get into it, you kind of have to get into it. So the global holistic modeling is going to lend massive integrity to the marketplace solutions which are actually implemented using the CCC standard. The CCC standard itself will be a living, breathing, evolving standard, because it will evolve to track whatever the latest and best technology of global holistic modeling is telling us holistically. This is the path you need to take. You need to shift from this much cotton to this much hemp. You need to do this with oil. You need to do this with building materials. You need, hemp is a great material for building materials as well. It's fantastic. It sequesters far more carbon per acre than any other crop, and has and the advantages of hemp. We're gonna have to do a whole thing on that. But this is the net of bringing together global holistic modeling and the rest of Radish, the people side, so that we can work together. This is like this beautiful, hybrid of, people and machines. And it's going to enable us to solve all kinds of problems, literally solve all the world's problems to the extent that they can be solved, because as collective intelligence grows exponentially, its power is going to grow exponentially. And the power of the standards such as CCC are going to grow exponentially, and the economy will be bifurcated, and we're going to have a massive global transformation of economics, social programs. Everyone will be fed. Compassionate communities surrounding those will begin to address other needs until we've met all the basic human needs, and basically make poverty obsolete, and make wholesale destruction of the planet obsolete as well, including war, including just basically make all the bad stuff obsolete. That's the ultimate goal. And seriously, we are on track to making that happen. So please tune in and stay tuned, or preferably both. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Arigatou gozaimasu.